Hi, I'm Dino Nagnostopoulos, a letter carrier and president of Branch 4811 in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Being a letter carrier is a rewarding career. Working for the post office has great pay and benefits, and it is a safe and fair work environment. But it wasn't always that way. Letter carriers used to have long hours for very low wages in unfair and unsafe work environments. That has all changed thanks to years of hard work by the National Association of Letter Carriers, which was founded just a few miles from here in 1889. Being a letter carrier in the late 1800s was rough. They received terrible pay and worked long hours, often without a day off. The spoils system, which was also introduced, was basically the post office department hiring its employees based on political beliefs. Letter carriers were also in a fight for something that today we often take for granted, the 8-hour workday. Carriers were fed up, and they decided to organize. Many letter carriers were in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for a Civil War reunion. On August 30th, 1889, 60 letter carriers from 18 states met above Schaefer's Saloon in Milwaukee. They unanimously voted to form the National Association of Letter Carriers, or the NALC. They did so under the motto, Fraternity, Fidelity, Benevolence, and Unity. And just like that, the NALC was born. In the years to follow, the NALC recognized Milwaukee as the birthplace of our union. The 32nd National Convention was held in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1939. The convention was called the Golden Jubilee and hosted letter carriers from across the nation. The Golden Jubilee featured many letter carrier bands and the Great Labor Day Parade. Thousands gathered at Milwaukee's lakefront to celebrate 50 years of fraternity and brotherhood. Milwaukee also hosted the NALC's 100th anniversary, or the Centennial Celebration, in 1989. The Centennial featured 10 letter carrier bands and a letter carrier parade. There was also a museum-quality exhibit of NALC history and letter carrier artifacts. The Milwaukee Repertory Theater also put on 3 performances of a play called The Letter, which was about the struggles and triumphs of the NALC. At the 100th anniversary, President Vincent R. Sombrado dedicated the letter carrier statue. The statue is across the street from where Schaefer's Saloon used to be, and it still resides there today.
I hope when you leave Milwaukee that you bring back to your locals, to your branches, the feeling that you have generated here today, the kind of solidarity, the kind of fellowship, and the kind of belief and trust that you have in one another.
I wanted to see the birthplace of the NALC firsthand, so I drove to Plankinton Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, where it all began. Okay, so here we are, the site of the old Schaefer's Saloon. That building over my shoulder is where the first members of the NALC decided to organize and form a union. They call this Postman Square. Postman Square is where, in 1989, at the Centennial Convention, they dedicated the statue. The statue depicts 3 letter carriers: an African-American man wearing a 1939 uniform from the time of the 50th anniversary of the NALC, a woman in a contemporary letter carrier uniform, and a white man with a mustache wearing an early 20th century uniform. The statue was dedicated by Vincent R. Sombrado, NALC's president at the time of the 1989 Centennial Celebration in Milwaukee. The statue reads, in honor of the men and women who have delivered for America in rain, sleet, and snow, and in tribute to their union. The National Association of Letter Carriers founded across Plankinton Avenue from this site on August 30th, 1889, dedicated August 30th, 1989.
Right across the street is Schaefer's Saloon, and obviously that is the birthplace of the NALC. Okay, Detroit gets branch 1 because their folks apparently called the meeting, but we did host it. So we are branch 2, but still the pioneer branch.
Scott Van Derven started as a Milwaukee letter carrier in 1986 and was a very active member of the NALC in Wisconsin. He served as a steward for 25 years, did a term for the Southeast District Representative, did a term as a VP Director of Education, and he's been state president since 2010. He was also the co-chair of the Lakeland District Safety Committee from 2005 until he retired in 2018. Scott has also been the face of the local food drive, and he was an integral part of the opening of Postman Square.
Driving home one day down Wells Street to, I don't know if you look at the statue or if traffic was bad, couldn't get on the freeway, but drove by the square, and there's all this gigantic blue furniture, like oversized Adirondack chairs. So there's an organization in Milwaukee called NEWalkie, and they got together and built this furniture basically out of pallets, painted them all this gorgeous blue, and because they're oversized, people were saying, well, I'm going to come take my lunch here, and that sort of thing. So it became a place to be. And so NEWalkie was in charge of that, and it was their idea. But I called them up and says, hey, what's the deal? What's Postman Square? What's your vision? And so we kind of got together on that, and we got the mayor and a whole bunch of civic groups, and we did a little ribbon cutting and all that kind of stuff, and put it on the map pretty much, because it really didn't have a name previously. It's kind of a cool site because it's honey locust trees, so they filter the sunlight, and it's a nice respite because there's very little green space in that part of the city.
While Scott Van Derven has accomplished a lot, he says that one of his proudest moments as president is rallying in Madison, Wisconsin in the early months of 2011.
One of the coolest things that we probably did as state president and was get the rally together on the steps of the Capitol in Madison after Act 10, which was decimating labor in Wisconsin. A bunch of carriers from Illinois, some carriers from Minnesota, certainly Wisconsin. The Dakotas showed up as well, so we had quite a few of those folks too, and we had Letter Carrier Day in Madison. We were there, and we appreciated being able to show the solidarity that we felt for what was going on in this state. Appreciate the national since some national officer Nicole Ryan came out and spoke with us as well, and I appreciate the support that we had from national.
I visited Branch 2 in Milwaukee to learn more about the history of the NALC in Wisconsin. I met with President Ron Kania, who had a treasure trove of historical NALC items and artifacts.
Like I said, that's the charter from 1889, original charter for Branch 2.
Charters are granted by the National Association, and it gives the local branch, quote, all the power and privileges of local association working under the jurisdiction of the National Association. What makes this one so special is not only was it the second charter issued by the NALC, it is also signed by the NALC's first president, William H. Wood.
Mm-hmm. This is the granted book from 1889.
Oh my goodness.
So when I actually took the vote to become a union, I talked to Fred Delano headquarters, said they don't have it. I said, you ain't getting ours.
This convention book is so rare, we had to put on gloves to look at it.
So it is the deal. So you're more than welcome to.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't even want to touch it.
Whatever. Just.
I don't even want to touch it.
It's fragile, but we've been through it before, so it's okay.
I'll just. Yeah, that is really cool. Okay, I didn't do this. Page. Okay.
I get it.
Okay. Ron went on to show me several rare and truly amazing historical NALC items. Branch 2 possesses several original rare photographs, which gave me a glimpse into the past of what life was like for letter carriers throughout history. It was humbling to say the least.
brothers and our sisters in many far-off lands. There is power in our union. Now I long for the morning that they realise brutality.
88.
88, all letter carriers from 88 apparently, and this one was,
This was all of them, you think?
that's what they were, that's the claim.
The workers who cannot organise, and the bosses send their lackeys out to cheat us. Money speaks for money, the devil for his own. Who comes to speak for the skin and the bone? What a comfort to the widow, a light to the child. There is power in our union.
I was so inspired by seeing the original Branch 2 charter that I wanted to find the one for my branch. Unfortunately, our charter had gone missing over the years, so I contacted NALC headquarters and they sent me a duplicate copy. While it's not an original from when my branch started in 1958, it still represents the brotherhood and tradition that started nearly 130 years ago above Schaefer's Saloon.
Is power in our union.
The state of Wisconsin has always played an integral role in the history of the NALC. From the first convention above Schaefer's Saloon to standing united on the steps of Madison, Wisconsin, protesting Scott Walker's anti-union agenda, Wisconsin has always stood strong and will continue to do so in fraternity, fidelity, benevolence, and unity.
What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What you gonna do when they show up in black suits on your street in army boots? And then silence you. What you gonna say when they strip your rights